Every season of Survivor is a story. There are main characters, sidekicks, comic reliefs, and villains. A good season of Survivor tells a compelling story that has you rooting for someone and against someone else. You will want to watch episode after episode to see what happens next until it all finishes with a hopefully satisfying conclusion. Each story that we look at together will go through one character's journey from beginning to end, from the time that they are introduced until they inevitably get their torch snuffed or win the game. We will look at every character moment and strategic move to determine whether they were a hero or a villain and whether they were a good or bad strategist. And with that, welcome to Once Upon an Island. Now, for reference, we will only be observing what the TV show is showing us and what story is being told through the show. No future seasons will be mentioned here, as the story and characters have no idea what's going to happen in those future seasons. All character moments and strategic moves are interpreted with the mindset of what the story is trying to tell us. And have you heard of Film Heart? It is my other YouTube channel where I review, podcast, and even re-edit movies and TV shows. If that sounds interesting to you, then come on over and check it out. Links in the description. Now with that,
39 days, 19 people, 1 survivor.
Michelle Yee, a 22-year-old student from Cincinnati, Ohio, was a castaway on Survivor's 14th season, Survivor Fiji. This season kicks off in a way that is meant to strike fear in our hearts as an audience, as we learn that Fiji used to thrive on cannibalism, and one player even quit the game only hours before it started, meaning this cast has 19 players instead of the intended 20, a first for the show. Jeff says Exile Island is back, full of sea snakes too, but this time the game has 2 idols, a first for the show, one at each tribe beach, and both now need to be played before the votes are read, aka they're not the super idols that we saw the past 2 seasons. Like in Palau, the players do not meet Jeff and instead all land on the same beach together, no tribes, no buffs, no instructions. They are given a large amount of supplies though, along with some blueprints to build a very impressive shelter and living space, but they're not told what for. People are suspicious of this since Survivor is never this generous. So why are they being generous now? Well, Sylvia ends up taking the lead on the build, which seems to annoy almost everyone. And by the time night falls, they haven't done enough work to even get a roof over their heads, and they pay the price.
Oh, let's go right here. This is like Unsurvivor.
Now, Michelle is pretty much in the background working hard and being nice to others. She doesn't get any time to talk to us except for a generic confessional about how they are all working on the shelter. Basically, the show is not presenting her as a big character right out of the gate. By night 2, the shelter is better, but then a fight breaks out between Dreams and Rocky, which Michelle wisely stays out of.
When you as great as I, you can say what you want to say. That's what I do. I just go from project to project.
Simmer down a little bit.
You know what? Anytime somebody tell me to simmer down, it just adds fuel to my fight. Where all the white people here?
What?
If you white, raise your hand. Rocky, what color you, man? What's your nationality?
I'm Italian, Irish, and Spanish.
You talking to him, you gonna talk to me like
You snap a little bit at me, all right? I'm telling you right now, I don't want to be treated like that. Okay, I'm just trying to go to sleep. I've been running around all day. I don't need you to raise your voice to me, because I'm not a little girl.
I don't yell at people. That's not me.
What are you doing
I don't
right
yell
now?
at people.
What are
I'm
you doing?
talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Okay,
I haven't yelled at anybody here.
You
I haven't yelled at
crazy,
anybody
dude.
here, and I'm not gonna let anybody belittle me.
What do I stand to gain by belittling you?
I don't know.
What do I stand
don't
to
know.
gain?
Why?
Because you yelled at me.
Rob,
That's why.
You
That's
yelling
why.
right now. You are yelling
Because
right
you're
now.
repeating yourself and you don't pay attention. I'm trying to explain
no,
it to you.
You yell.
Go back to bed. Go back to bed and hang out with your friends.
Whatever, Rob.
It is now day 3 and people still don't know what's going on. There's still no tribes and no direction. They haven't even seen Jeff. They all go to the immunity challenge where they do finally meet Jeff, who says, I need to know who the leader of this group is. And everyone just kind of says, I guess Sylvia, since she was bossing us around. And then Jeff says, okay, Sylvia, come on over here. You single-handedly get to pick both tribes, which is just insane, by the way. Michelle is the first member on Ravu, and she is joined by Earl, Yowman, Rocky, Mookie, Anthony, Rita, Erica, and Jessica. Sylvia is then sent to Exile Island and is told she will join whichever tribe loses immunity. We then learn that whichever tribe wins not only gets immunity, but they get the camp that they all just built, plus a couch, some hammocks, cutlery, the works. The losing tribe gets a new beach with just a pot and machete, which That just sucks. Wow. The immunity challenge kicks off and Ravu falls behind early due to Jessica, but when Michelle takes over what Jessica was doing, she helps them pick it right back up and gets them caught back up. But despite the lead, they get to the puzzle, and what happens next?
Ravu, you need to pick it up. Come on, come on, come on. Get up, get up, get up. Come on out. Moto wins immunity.
They lose immunity on the puzzle that Michelle helped with. Ravu arrives at their new tribe camp, and yeah, it blows just like we thought it would. They think it, I think it. I don't think anyone would disagree. Moto has it made and Ravu is suffering. Discussions start up about who to vote out, as it seems like a girl's on the chopping block because we get the typical we need to vote out someone weak to make us strong for challenges.
Obviously, it has to be a girl. That's not who we are, Jess. And Michelle, I love Rita to death, but she's a little ninja guy. She hangs from things, she jumps around. She's really physically fit, and that's what we need right now.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of Monkey. I call her Monkey.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of social.
No way.
We then hear Jessica's name thrown out, and whatever, as long as it isn't Michelle, which seems to be the case. People value Michelle, which is always good to hear. And at Tribal Council, Michelle, always the optimist, tells Jeff that actually she likes the new island.
Michelle, how frustrating is it right now to know that there are 9 people sleeping peacefully in a shelter you helped build?
It was a frustrating thought at first, but I think it's okay now. We actually really like our new island.
Thanks, Michelle. You just made my earlier statement sound silly. But then, in a 6-to-1 vote, Jessica is gone.
Jessica, tribe has spoken.
So that's it for the premiere of Survivor Fiji, and I have to ask, who is Michelle? We haven't heard much from her so far, as bigger characters have dominated the screen. What we have seen so far is that it looks like she is nice, joyful, and apparently pretty helpful around camp, earning the nickname Monkey. Does this mean anything for her story in the long term though? I have no idea. Episode 2 starts off, and did I mention before that Ravu doesn't have fire? Oh, I didn't? Well, they don't, and Jeff didn't even give them flint or any sort of fire after Tribal saying that you can't get fire from me until you make it yourself, which is just cruel. This is why Ravu starts this episode licking leaves to get water since they are so badly dehydrated. Rocky says, yeah, this is horrible, and while he is talking about it, we see Michelle fall from a lack of water in her system. Sylvia then arrives from Exile Island to replace Jessica, and finally Ravu has something else to focus on besides the water situation, as Sylvia just kind of annoys them all, even Michelle.
I was not really excited for Sylvia to come back. I already didn't have great feelings about her personality. I personally think she's a little bossy and just likes to push people around.
Then, in a miracle that somehow everyone missed, Erica finds pineapple that is right next to their camp. People feel pretty silly for not seeing this earlier, but are also grateful. Then at the immunity challenge, it all comes down to the puzzle at the end, and Erica blows it by trying to take the lead, but sending them in the wrong direction on what to do. Back at camp, Anthony talks about voting out Erica with Michelle.
I don't think it's smart.
No, I don't think so either, but then...
But apparently that's the unanimous thing right now.
Right,
Yeah.
it's majority.
It's majority. And
Okay, well, let's count.
I mean, they've got the votes. They've got the votes right.
They have enough already?
Yeah.
Well, if they have enough already, then let me put Sylvia so I can be like, I'm voting you because I don't like you.
Okay, then that's cool. Then I'll vote for Sylvia too.
What they say seems to pretty much be the consensus around camp, as Erica does get voted out 6-2.
Erica, tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Episode 3 sees Ravu even more desperate than before. It is day 7, and they still don't have fire, and can't boil any water to make it drinkable. Michelle says, please son, please come out and play with me.
Dear son, Michelle would like you to come out and play today. Please participate in my game. Sincerely, Michelle.
We haven't had fire, so I decided to just go out and give it a go while we have some sun. I started to pray, because I know my mama doesn't want me to die out here. I look down about a minute and a half later, and I see the start of a fire. So I go running back to the beach. First person I see is Anthony, and I hand that off to him, and I'm like, start a fire with this. We're not gonna die.
Michelle saves the day. Finally, Ravu has fire and everyone is grateful and thinks this is now the turning point for us as a tribe. Jeff even congratulates them at the challenge and says, "You have earned your Flint." It's kind of like a proud dad moment. It all seems to be uphill for Ravu now. That is until they lose reward and then they lose immunity, partially due to Michelle. And at Tribal Council, they end up splitting their votes to get Sylvia out because she is annoying.
Sylvia, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Well, that escalated quickly. Episode 4 sees Rocky angry after Tribal Council and he basically bullies Anthony, which is completely uncalled for and is typical of Rocky at this point. The tribe's morale is at its lowest point so far, which is not helped when they go on to lose reward, due to no fault of Michelle this time, and back at camp, Rocky blows up again.
Absolutely ridiculous. Thank you. Why don't we just go to Tribal Council right now? Well, you want to go to Tribal Council right now? We'll vote somebody off. This is all we do every week. Every other day, we vote somebody off. So why don't we just call Jeff up right now on the Jeff phone and go, "Hey Jeff, we're ready to vote somebody off today." Just lost. So what's the sense? What's the sense of going, "Oh, we'll get them next time. Oh, we'll do this next time"? No, I'm not sugarcoating that.
You lost, it sucks, let's move on. I mean, if you go in somewhere and think you're gonna lose, your chances
I'm not being negative, I'm stating the obvious. There's a difference.
But after this blow up, Rocky says, "I'm going to do my best to turn the morale around at this tribe so we actually win something for once." So, how does he try to do this? Well, it includes Michelle as she is reading tree mail.
Whether you're on the bottom or if you're on the top, or if you're, I'm not even gonna look at you.
Well, thankfully I only got like a half a second peek of James naked. Not pretty sight.
No one wants to see that, and in fact, multiple women say they're not impressed. Rocky then wears a girl's top to the immunity challenge, and in a surprise, they find out Gary from Moto had to quit the game due to medical reasons. So Moto has lost their first member. If Ravu were to win immunity here, they would somehow be tied with Moto after this. So the challenge takes place, and it all comes down to Stacy and Michelle at the end for immunity, and
Wins immunity! Still undefeated!
But as it turns out, Jeff has a note in his pocket that says, "The winning tribe has a decision to make. Give up your immunity and keep your camp, or keep your immunity and move to the other camp." Moto says, "Yeah, we want to keep our camp, so we're giving up immunity to Ravu." And what a pleasant surprise. So if you think about it, if Ravu had won this challenge, they theoretically get both the Moto tribe and immunity. Too bad that didn't happen. Episode 5 sees Ravu continuing to suffer as Moto continues to thrive.
We're struggling right now and all of us are starving. The other camp, they have a shelter, a king-size mattress, tons of food, fishing gear. We're still sleeping on palm fronds. We've at least got a good water system going. And that's about it.
At the reward challenge, Rocky fights with Dreams again and says, "I am ready to fight with you." So this is the showdown, Ravu versus Moto, and
Cassandra uses her body, knocks Rita in. Anthony is in. Moto leads, 3, zip. Lisi hits her hard. Pushes her off with no trouble. Who pushes Earl off? Moto leads, 5, zip. Stacy in the water. Ravu scores their first point. Moto wins reward.
yeah, that was a slaughter. One tribe is sleeping well and the other isn't. Who thought this twist was a good idea? It should end at the tribe swap, considering how lopsided it clearly has been so far. Back at camp, we see Michelle and Rita bond, and Rocky hates this.
Isn't it funny that we're both really into fashion?
I know. And for me, truthfully, I go out, I'm just lip gloss, good to go. And of course, we fare better because we're our ethnic skin.
Yeah, we got.
It's really on our side.
The whole lip glossing girl thing's really not my thing. It's basically want me to take my t-shirt and hang myself from a palm tree.
But who cares what Rocky thinks? He's a jerk. Anyways, at the immunity challenge, Michelle helps Ravu bloat again, and back at camp she pitched voting out Anthony to Mookie, Yowman, and Rita. They all seem to be on board, but I am wondering why Rocky's name isn't being thrown out due to all the havoc he causes. No one answers this, but it seems like Rocky's name should be out there. At Tribal Council, it turns out the majority did not agree with Michelle's plan, and Rita is blindsided, 5-2.
Rita, the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
Episode 6 sees a big change, and one that only benefits Michelle, as they do a schoolyard pick for tribes, and Michelle ends up on the new Moto. Nice camp and all, along with Earl, Yowman, Cassandra, Stacy, and Boo. It's a 3-3 split between the old Ravu and old Moto on their tribe. With that also comes her first immunity win of the season, and this is the downfall of being on the nice tribe with all the amenities. The downfall being because Ravu eats up so much screen time because they suck and have all the drama. However, in episode 7, Moto loses their first ever challenge to Ravu for reward, but at the immunity challenge, the teams are blindfolded with one person being the caller. For Moto, that is Michelle, and she is doing a pretty good job until...
Rail, follow that rail! You're doing awesome! Follow that rail!
Yeah, ouch. Thankfully, Michelle's 22, so she's able to just brush this off no problem, but I still think that had to hurt. Ravu's still in it, and it all comes down to the puzzle at the end, something Michelle was not very good at for Ravu. However, Stacy calls her over to help them out, and...
Where's Michelle? Yes. Cannibal.
Cannibal Isles is correct! Moto wins immunity!
Moto always wins when it counts. I think Ravu's cursed. Episode 8 sees them winning reward, what else is new, and the next morning we get further insight into Earl and Michelle's relationship.
Michelle and I have our usual morning meetings because I'm usually the first person up, and then she gets up pretty soon, and everyone else is always just laying there. So we always get up and she briefs me on what's happening because she is my little spy.
Stacy automatically is going to hook up with Alex and Edward.
Stacy's got that flirt card.
She wants to do that.
That's why I feel like Stacy first, because that'll scare Boo and get him on our side.
Yeah.
Earl and I are targeting Stacy. She still does have ties on the other side, particularly with Alex. Ideally, we'd want to get rid of Stacy before the merge, because that's when we feel like she'll be most dangerous. I am afraid that the longer Stacy sticks around, the more in danger it puts me, because me and Stacy are kind of carbon copies of each other when it comes down to function. I don't think there's enough room for the both of us.
Moto goes on to win immunity. They seem to be completely unstoppable as they have won 12 out of 13 challenges. But then we move on to episode 9 when Tremail says,
"Gather your personal belongings only and use the map to paddle your tribe boat to Exile Island immediately."
The fact that I've been through, the old Ravu situation, I know I can sleep in the dirt and not eat a lot of food for a while. Me and Earl actually exchanged glances and we're like, this is great, we can totally do this. Cassandra, Stacy, and Boo have been living the whole time on honeymoon Fiji here. And they're like, oh my God, we're gonna die.
Everyone is a bit worried, and for good reason, because it seems like they will all be living on exile together. With that comes a lack of shelter, food, and a whole lot of sea snakes. Upon climbing the tower, they get their new purple merge buffs and a note that says, "You're welcome, go back to the Moto camp." Everyone is relieved to hear this. That is until they arrive back at Moto, and...
Oh my God! I can't even get a bed? I didn't get anything. Fishing gear.
What the hell?
Oh my God.
Oh no, this is like a bad dream.
This is so messed up. Oh my God.
Bastards.
Yeah, they're all back to square one, but Michelle lived like this on Ravu, so nothing new for her. She then helps name the new tribe Bula Bula, and we see her and Stacy talking. They both say, yeah, I think we're safe for now because the men are likely to target each other, while we can just take a back seat and avoid being voted out for a while. But then, at the immunity challenge, a twist even dumber than what we just saw before this takes place.
If you have orange, go to the orange mat. If you have green, go to the green mat. You have merged, you are one tribe, but for today's challenge, you will be competing against each other. You are two teams in this challenge. Winning team wins immunity. 5 people on that team will not go to tribal council. You will be safe from another vote and guaranteed a 1 in 9 shot at $1 million.
If we were going to do this, then why even have them merged to begin with? All this does is screw over someone, since not everyone gets to go to tribal and vote. So we're not really merged then. Michelle's team unfortunately loses the challenge, and Jeff says, no talking to each other. We're going to tribal right now. Why? Why are we doing this? At tribal council, the vote goes down and
first vote. Stacy. Michelle. Stacy. Michelle. 9th person voted out, and the 3rd member of our jury. Michelle. Michelle, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
So let's break this down. How is Michelle as a character? She is so sweet, kind, and apparently a little sneaky since she was Earl's information spy. However, she was grossly under-edited, and in retrospect, it makes me wonder if it was because she was so nice and likable that the show went out of its way to not get us too attached to her, since she goes out on a bad twist. She doesn't have that many character moments, and had she not lost any of the immunity challenges, she would have 0 villainous moments. Out of 6 character moments shown on the show, 4 were heroic and 2 were villainous, making Michelle a hero character on Survivor Fiji. Now, how is Michelle as a strategist? Good, but not great. She sure got screwed over by a twist, didn't she? And I can't even blame her. Had there not been that twist, or had everyone been able to vote, Michelle is safe. I think she had herself set up in a position to reach the final 5 at least, based on what we see after her vote out with the fall of the 4 horsemen and Boo being seen as a big threat. So much of the show was focused on players that made it further or caused drama that we unfortunately didn't hear too much from her. Michelle feels like someone who deserves a second chance, but at this point, I don't see it happening. But if it did, then I could see a more mature Michelle making it far. Out of 18 strategic moments shown on the show, 12 were smart and 6 were dumb, making Michelle a smart strategist on Survivor Fiji. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. See you all next time.